Quilty is brought to you by
Baby Lock. Baby Lock sewing and long arm machines. From piecing to long arming for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread. Perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Dear Stella. A unique fabric brand with modern style. Fairfield. Together, we can make beautiful things. Hovels Sewing. Cut to the point with Hovels Sewing. Moda. Make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Northcott. Cottons that feel like silk. Omnigrid. Providing quilters with specialty rulers and accessories for over 30 years. Hi, thanks for watching Quilty. Today, it's like a big deal. We have a Sashiko machine on the show. Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mary. Glad to be here.
Sashiko machine, welcome to the show. Thanks, Mary. This is, tell me what Sashiko is, Linda.
Well, a Sashiko is actually a traditional stitch that was done by hand by the Japanese, and they actually started doing it as kind of a way of keeping their clothes together.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So.
It's a big stitch done with thick thread.
Right.
And it's got a lot of spaces in between. I mean, if you analyze it, that's what it looks like. And this example was done by hand, right?
Yes, that was done by hand.
Okay. But the Sashiko machine does the same stitch,
Right.
Mechanized, right? I mean, it's a machine. So this one was done by machine.
Right. And it's a little amazing, right? Because no sewing machine can do a stitch that actually has a space in it too. So that's what's pretty unique about it.
When I learned about this machine, Baby Lock people told me about the Japanese company that sort of figured it out and like the technique of it, and it's just extraordinary. Extraordinary how they figured out how to do it. And this is the only machine of its kind, right?
That's right. It's an exclusive for us.
So, so this, tell me what this guy is.
The reason why I brought this is I absolutely love quilting, and I really love the look of hand quilting, but quite frankly, I just don't have time to hand quilt. And my mother laughed at me because I had this in a frame for so long. She said, it's really not a quilt in process, it's just a decoration in your house. So,
right.
So
it's cute in the hoop, in the basket, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How did you know?
I
Have
don't
you been to my house?
I can imagine, I know. So yeah, it's great, but hand quilting takes a long time. Some people like that, you know, they like the process, but me, I like to get stuff done. This jacket was done on the machine.
Right, done on the machine, a very traditional look with quilting, right? But I got this done so fast that even my mother couldn't complain that it was a decoration in my house.
You should give it to her and be like,
No,
are you happy?
Yeah, I don't love her that. I love you, Mom, but not that much.
Not that much. And one thing before we show the machine, it just does the one stitch, but with the stitch, you can do lots of different things, including my little pin.
Yes, your little pin was done. It was all gathered with the Sashiko, and what's really cool, if we can look at the leaf here, is that there's a whole lot of really nice stitching done with the Sashiko machine over some thread.
Cool. So cool.
Right.
And then, why don't you point to these, tell me what you've done there, and
Absolutely.
I'll put these away.
So this looks like a nice hand-done towel, right, with the heavy stitching, but this is a Sashiko, and we've flipped some threads back and forth across it to give it that look of a raised embroidery. And then over here, this is an especially nice piece because there's a number of techniques that have been done on it. In the center of my flower, it looks like hand stitch cross stitches. And then I have this fringing that was all done with the Sashiko, obviously this heavy border around the outside. So it can look like hand quilting, but it also can look like hand embroidery. So it's a pretty unique, specialized machine.
Awesome. Linda, will you hand me that batting right behind you? Because I'd like to know, just because this is a new thing, do you need any special batting? Should you go thinner or wool or something?
No, you can use whatever batting you have at home, at whatever weight that you like.
Awesome.
So.
I have this at home, so I will use this.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see this thing in action.
Okay, let me grab some fabric here.
Great.
So I've got a little quilt sandwich.
Great.
All right, and so we're just going to go ahead and sew on the machine. Now the Sashiko machine does like one stitch at a time.
Wow.
Okay?
And it skips. It skips a stitch.
Skips a stitch.
So cool.
And I like the fact that I can stop with my needle down.
Yes.
And then you can just pivot the fabric. And so I'm going to turn my dial here so now I can just pivot.
That's how you raise. Oh, okay. I see. I see.
All right, so that
Alright.
raises the foot off the fabric. And in doing that, I can also now just take my fabric.
You could go around that little circle.
I could go around the circle if I want.
Oh,
Absolutely.
cool. It's just, I mean, I don't know. This is on my Christmas list, I have to say. It's on my birthday list and my Christmas list. I'd really like to play around with it. Because you know, Linda, kantha, which is another way to say, I mean, it's another hand stitch, big stitch technique from a different part of the world. That kantha and sashiko, so hot right now.
Yeah, very hot.
So a trend that people are loving to do, and by hand and by machine, I mean, the machine would be pretty nice.
The machine would be nice. And I think the thing is that most people would never look at this stitch and say, oh, obviously that was done by a machine.
Exactly.
Because everybody's thinking it was done by hand.
Exactly. So. It's just beautiful. And also, there are lots of resources too. Can you talk about these items?
Absolutely. Well, the Sashiko machine will come with this book, but what, it normally takes kind of a new trend in sewing to end up having people do something more creative than what it was ever thought to do. Right. So obviously, I see a straight stitch. I'm not that creative, but there are all kinds of people, and Evie Hawkins is an incredibly creative person, and she's made an entire book of all kinds of great creative techniques that you can do. So I think it's worth a peek.
Absolutely, and more of these kinds of things are coming out because the longer the machine's on the market, the more people are playing with things. And one last little thing, this pillow that we looked at earlier, these you can find more of these too, because more patterns are coming out for you to use your machine with, and that's a great little pillow, right?
Great little pillow or placemat or whatever you want to do with it. You could actually make a quilt out of it if you did enough.
You could. Oh, you are creative. She's creative,
okay,
believe
great.
me.
There, I'm done for the year.
Exactly.
That's my one creative thought.
Thanks for watching Quilty. Thanks, Linda.
Thanks, Mary.
See ya next time.
Quilty is brought to you by
Baby Lock. Baby Lock sewing and long arm machines. From piecing to long arming for the love of sewing. Aurifil Italian thread. Perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Dear Stella, a unique fabric brand with modern style. Fairfield, together we can make beautiful things. Hovels Sewing, cut to the point with Hovels Sewing. Moda, make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Northcott, cottons that feel like silk. Omnigrid, providing quilters with specialty rulers and accessories for over 30 years.